Hey y'all, welcome to Heretics Bible Study. We're starting in the beginning. But the beginning has something before it. Like your story. Where did you come from? And what happened before that? And before that. You see where we're going here? The Urantia Book tells us through this massive cosmic action the story of how we got here. The universe is not an accident, it says. The universe of universes is the work of God and the dwelling place of his diverse creatures. It also tells us that Earth is one of 61 planets capable of sustaining life in the universes, but the only one of its kind. And God saw that it was good. So Moses writes in Genesis that there were 6 days of creation. I think this is likely from the 6 characters of the word Bereshit, the first word of the Hebrew Bible. Day is a translation of the word Yom, which is the word used in the Hebrew Bible, and that means a time of unspecified but finite length. Moses writes in the Book of Jubilees, which is considered canonical by the Ethiopian Orthodox Christianity and the Beta Israelites, the book, chapter 2, verse 2, "For on the first day, he, the Lord God, created the heavens, which are above, and the earth and the waters and all the spirits which serve before him, the angels of the presence and the angels of sanctification and the angels of the spirit of fire and the angels of the spirit of the winds and the angels of the spirit of the clouds and of darkness and of snow and of hail and of hoarfrost and the angel of the voices and of the thunder and of the lightning and the angels of the spirits of cold and of heat and of winter and of spring and of autumn and of summer and of all the spirits of his creation, which are in the heavens and on the earth. He created the abysses and the darkness, eventide and night, and the light, dawn, and day, which he has prepared in the knowledge of his heart. And immediately he saw his works and praised him and lauded before him on account of all his works. For 7 great works did he create on the first day." Don't some of these spirits remind you of the Greek myths? In verse 23, Moses tells us, this one serves with that one. That word "with" suggests an equality, a working together. Now, the Bible tells us that one of those first angels is our adversary, Satan. And he wanted more than to be equals with us. He wanted to be higher than God himself and worshiped as God. We find Satan in the oldest book of the Bible, written centuries before Moses wrote the Pentateuch, the book of Job. The name Satan means adversary in Hebrew, while the Greek word for devil, diabolos, means accuser or slanderer. He has not always existed. He was created along with the angels. He was originally good and beautiful, created for and by Christ. Yet sometime after his creation and before Genesis 3, he rebelled against God. Jesus tells his disciples in Luke 10:18, "I beheld Satan as lightning falling from heaven." In chapter 8, Missler writes, "We cannot find a single chapter in the Bible that explains to us the exact events surrounding the fall of Satan. We have to collect the bits of information hidden here and there throughout the Bible. Ezekiel 28 is a treasure trove in that respect, because God speaks to the power that's behind the throne of Tyre." Let's look at what Ezekiel says. "The word of the Lord came again to me, saying, Son of man, say to the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Lord God, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man and not God, and though thou set thine heart as the heart of God." It's Ezekiel 28, 1 and 2. So God is speaking to Ezekiel about the prince of Tyre, who is an egomaniac. This is clearly the political leader in charge of the city of Tyre, situated on the Mediterranean coast north of Israel. He was ruler of the holy island of Tyre, which was considered from that time to have risen from the rock throne of God. And he had too high a view of himself. In chapter 9, Missler writes, we find a similar passage in Isaiah 14 in which God speaks through Isaiah to another world ruler, the king of Babylon. The prophet has to deal with the actual man sitting on the throne of Babylon, but the language pushes further past the physical man to the power behind the throne. Paul tells us something exceedingly important in the final chapter of his letter to the Ephesians. Our true battle is not against our fellow humans, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. What does that mean? It means that there are spiritual powers at work behind the scenes of our world. There are ranks of angels. There are ranks of evil spirits, rulers of darkness and spiritual wickedness in high places. Or perhaps it was Chaos, who is the oldest of the gods and one of the gods of the infernal regions. However you look at it, Missler writes, the Bible tells us that Satan is an angel, and Paul tells us in 2 Corinthians 11:14 that Satan can appear as an angel of light. Satan doesn't come to us looking ugly. He's the great deceiver, the father of lies. Jesus describes him in John 8:44, speaking to the Pharisees. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Satan has many titles. Jesus calls him Prince of the World several times in John. Names have great meaning in the Bible, so consider this list of designations given to Satan: the god of this world, the prince of the power of the air, the wicked one, the enemy, a murderer, the father of lies, the tempter, an adversary like a roaring lion, the great dragon, the serpent, Beelzebub. Satan came to Eve in the garden and convinced her that she couldn't trust God the Creator. Satan doesn't appear to us ugly and scary. Instead, he offers to us everything we think we want. It's only when he's got his claws in us that we realize what a horrible mistake we made in letting him open our window. Symbolically, windows are connected to our perception. It's interesting that Jesus says Satan abode not in truth from the beginning, because the beginning starts with a B, and the ancient character B, which looks like this, Bet, is a house, a tent, a room with a window or a door. From the beginning, there was no evil there. And God saw that it was good. Peace out.